Yes, sir. I've just got one question. Maybe another one. Your sword, when you were running down the streets in your boxer shorts or something very minimal, where did you keep your sword?
Where does the sword come from? Jim Burns on the show said to me, he said, if anybody asks you that question, tell him it comes from the same place the music does. And Bill Panzer said, it's there when you need it. You know, I always tried to wear something when I was, you know, wearing something longer, but anyway.
Now, there's been 5 Highlander films. The first one was obviously really good, what kicked it all off. And the second one we don't talk about, maybe not the third one. The fourth one, Endgame, brilliant. The Source, what's your opinion?
I think The Source could be remade. The Source was a film that was only 3/4 written, in a sense, by the time that we started shooting. So you need to know the end of a product. I was talking today about how Game of Thrones, I think, is a brilliant idea of this, because when you have a really well-written piece of material, they know the characters they put in, they weave them in and out, but they already know the answer when they're going to finish. So they've created this story to get to here, but you have to know what here is before you finish the story, before you start the story. In Highlander the Source, they didn't really have that figured out. So that was kind of an issue.
Cool. It had you in it. So
it had me in it, so it was good. Yes, thank you.
Hi, I actually have 2.
Stan Kirsch. Do you know who Stan Kirsch is?
Woo! Richie!
Okay, some of you do. Stan Kirsch would play Richie in the series, and what happens in a lot of shows, you ask any actor here, they will guarantee you that they do pranks, they'll play games. Well, Stan and I always play games. In France, we used to have lunch, and in America you have lunch, you have 45 minutes, you eat dinner, and you go back to set. In France, you sit there for an hour, hour and a half, you have a little this, you have a smoke, you have a little wine, you have a little, you know, and Stan and I would always sit there and we'd have lunch, and we'd had this trailer where all the crew would sit, and they'd have tables, and I was sitting one day with Stan, and we were in costume. I had my hair done, and I'm sitting there with the producer, and I'm standing with the producer sitting in front of me, and I see Stan 2 tables behind him, and Stan is looking at me like this, and he gets hold of the bread basket, and he starts doing this under the table, and I said to the producer, I said, if he's going to throw that piece of bread at me, you see this cream pie here, I'm going to land it on him. And the producer said, no, don't do that, you're in costume, As he said that, Stan stood up and went, boom! I ducked, picked the pie up, went, boom, and hit him here with it, right? That started it. He picked up his cream pie, I picked up some more. There were cream pie on the wall. There was cream pie on the table, on the producer, on the cream pie everywhere. So, that's another story.
That's a great pie story. Absolutely. We rate all the pies. Adrian Paul.
You're not going to hug any other man, right?
Yes.
Okay, just clarifying that. Thank you, Adrian Paul. Thank you.